What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV. Back with another live stream. Special guest in the building, Mr. Brook the Neck himself. Super Kevin Campbell in the building. What are you saying, bro?
Curtis, it's been a while, boss. It's been a while since me and you have discussed anything to do with Arsenal or football. So I'm looking forward to it. Honestly, I really am.
Yeah, man. Pleasure to have you on here, bro. And obviously a big game later on that we'll speak about later. What have you been doing? Have you been working during the Euros and stuff?
Yeah, I've been doing a few bits during the year. I've done a few games. I've done a few pre-match, halftime and after game, etc. So I've been grafting. So I don't mind. I don't mind it. It keeps me busy, mate. Keeps me out of mischief.
That's it, man. That's it. It's always good when that's the case. You know what? I was thinking today, this is probably going to be one of the first streams where we're not really going to be arguing about the manager. There's nothing that's happened. It's calm right now.
You want to bet? Listen, with the people in the chat, you know how it goes.
Yeah,
We're going to get to it, and then next minute, we haven't signed anybody. We ain't done this. We ain't done that. You know how it goes, Curtis. There's always a bit of drama when me and you are on.
Yeah, there's always sort of, man. You know how it goes. But listen, obviously Arsenal last season wasn't the best of seasons. We're hoping this season is a lot better. He's had a bit more time. The manager, we're hoping that the board are going to back him. Are the fans, is it too early for the fans to start panicking in terms of the window? Is it a case of, listen, we got until August. Let's see what happens. Because, as a fan, you look over there and you see, boy, Sancho's going United and Konate's going Liverpool. And you're like, I want a piece of that cake, man. But do we have to just remain calm for now?
Yeah, I think we do. Look, I understand what happened last season wasn't good enough. Hold the hands up, definitely. We always said, Curtis, this was going to be a big summer where there's quite a few gaps to be filled. If we're honest,
yeah.
There's going to have to be some outgoings as well. Haven't really dealt with that. Obviously, there's certain players who've been playing in Copa America and stuff like that who are going to have to be dealt. Just see Guendouzi gone to Marseille, etc., etc. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on, but there are some irons in the fire that really just a matter of announcing, and there might not be the most fanciable ones, but there's a start. We've got to start somewhere.
I mean, everyone's saying at the moment the first two are probably going to be this Tavares, who I think they're saying he's in quarantine at the moment in London. And obviously, is it Lokonga from Anderlecht? They've said that they've agreed the fee and everything now. They'll be the first two. I mean, I don't know too much about either one of them. I've seen them a few times and a few YouTube videos. I mean, are they more? Do you think they're more squad players to just, potential for the future?
I think so. When you look at their age as well, there we were talking about Kieran Tierney needs a backup.
Yeah.
We don't want to go for experienced player. The fan base moan. We go for a young lad at Benfica, fit, strong, quick, needs to be developed, which will be the perfect, understudy. They still moan. I mean, guys, at Arsenal, unfortunately, we can't win.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Sometimes we can't win because whatever you do, you can't bring in, Brock the neck. You can't bring in a seasoned pro because he wants to play. So an aging player who could do a job, they don't want because it'll be too much in wages. So we got to bring in somebody young, and that's what we're doing. So I think it's a good bit of business, Curtis. I think Lokonga, the upside for these guys, the young boys with talent. That's what our MO is. We need young players with energy and talent. Both have the energy, both have the talent. Probably a little bit raw at times, but need refining. Lokonga's played at Anderlecht, so he might be one who, starts more than Tavares.
I think those signings are pretty steady signings. I think it's just they need to be accompanied by one or two big hitters that lift the level. Obviously, we're being linked with Aouar. We're being linked with Aouar again. That one's come out yesterday. Apparently, Lyon are willing to take 25 to 30 million because of this Canal Plus deal's gone and they're in debt. They've lost Memphis Depay. Do you think there could be anything in that one again?
I'd like to think so. We're not getting Odegaard back. And
Yeah.
we were linked with him last year. And remember, that same president was playing hardball with us
Yeah.
all last season. And now he's coming with his begging ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's coming with his
Give me your
begging
money.
ball. He's like, look, I got Aouar for you. Here he is. Come on, give me the money. So I'd like us to do the deal. I still think Aouar's quality. He's still young, still got excellent ability. And we need quality in our squad, don't we? Especially at the top end of the pitch. We know what we need in midfield. We need legs, we need energy, we need toughness, and we need ball players who, one, either could pick a pass or could score goals. That's what we do need. But at the top end of the pitch, we need a little bit of refinement up there. And listen, I know we're going to cover the Euros, but to see Saka doing so well, he's going to need a break, because he's had no break. So we're going to need somebody at the top end.
100%. One thing that I thought was interesting, we spoke a few times and we were saying how much Basuma we thought, listen, what a great signing he could be for Arsenal. It seems as if, and listen, we don't know if this is gospel, but we seem like we're looking more at ball-playing midfielders to play next to Partey, the likes of Ruben Neves, now Aouar, and players like that. Do you think he's more prioritizing someone that he can kind of play through and get the attack started?
Maybe there's a change in tack, how he's going to approach things. Partey might just be the one sitting and he wants two central midfielders a bit more attacking further forward. I don't know. But one thing I do know, we're losing quite a few midfielders out of our squad, Curtis.
Yeah.
And when you're losing that amount of midfielders, you've got to replace them. We've got to replace them just to be par, just to be level as a squad. So if we're losing 3 or 4 midfielders, we need to get 3 or 4 in. And obviously the Congo's one. We've been linked with Locatelli. We've been linked with Basuma and Bender at Sheffield United, or whatever his name is, Sander Berg. Sander Berg. That's the one. So listen, who knows what's going to happen? It's an open market right now. Been some really good performances, from some unsung players really in this tournament. So it's going to be interesting where Arsenal go, or will they give Willock another go? Because
that's
money.
An interesting one.
He's money.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of players out, I mean, a lot of players are being linked with moves and they're saying that we need to raise money. They're looking at Maddison, but they're saying that they may have to sell 1 or 2. I mean, what do you see? Would you like to see the likes of Bellerin and Xhaka? What do you think about Lacazette as well? Is that somebody?
I think the first 2, Bellerin and Xhaka, will go. I think Lacazette will stay. I just don't think we have deep enough pockets to mess around with the top end of the pitch. Because who are we going to sign to replace him? Yeah. Because we do need that quality at the top end of the pitch. I was looking at Andre Silva and thinking we could make a move for him, but obviously he's gone to Red Bull now, so that's off the table. Curtis, it's going to be a hard one and it's going to be a tough one for us, but we've got to make some moves. There's if you don't get your first target, you've got to get your second. If you don't get your second, you've got to get your third. And regardless of what us as fans think, it's what really the manager needs. It's what the manager wants and what he could get in, because it's going to be a tough old season if we don't bring in reinforcements.
What areas do you think we really need to address in this window?
Well, we've been linked with Ben White, which I think is a good signing. If we could sign him, get him across the line.
Yeah.
We need a right back.
Definitely.
Tavares can play right back, but I think he's probably a bit young. But we need a recognised right back with a bit more experience, I think. Obviously, Tavares is coming in. Lokonga's coming in. They're squad players, so to speak. But again, that central midfield area, is the key. The engine room. We need that engine room functioning properly. Because without it, we've seen Xhaka and Partey play well together at times. We've seen Xhaka have a great season, second half of the season. But we had a terrible season.
Yeah, very.
So if he's going to be one of our best players, but we have a terrible season, something's wrong.
100%. Just back there on the Ben White thing. 50 million for Ben White. Do you think there's value for money in that, or do you think we're paying over the odds for him?
English players come with a premium, Curtis. You know that.
Yeah.
But as a player, as a ball playing centre half, he's much better than Holding. And I think sometimes when you see the way we play, we are not good enough at the back. When David Luiz was out, for instance, Holding played. Holding's a decent player, but you can't rely on him to be playing those balls the way David Luiz, for instance, played through the lines.
Yeah.
Be able to hit those diagonals. Ben White can do that. He's comfortable doing that. And, if it's 50 million that the premium's going to be, do you know what, Curtis? Sometimes you got to pay it, because then if you start going for the top end, when he is really pushing, you're paying 70, 80. That's the going rate at the very, very top. And this kid can be a top player, I believe.
I think with the Maguire deal a couple of years ago, it kind of pushed the premium up for English centre-backs, in it. So he might have cost 30 million, but now it's probably going to cost you 50 million, and he's only 23 as well. So, it's probably par with the market.
Also, Curtis, the fact of the matter is, when the likes of Man City and all that start inquiring, Chelsea start inquiring, you can't even chip them down. You know what I mean? Normally, if they say we want 50, then you could, try a thing and chip them down.
Yeah.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
No.
Yeah, just
not when the money's in the background like that.
Exactly.
Chelsea.
Exactly. They're breathing down your neck. No.
Yeah. What do you make of the Saliba situation? Because I have to admit, listen, I get it, but at the same time, I don't get it, because I kind of look at it and just think, why not give him an opportunity? Is he that far off it? But at the same time, I mean, I don't know. What do you make of the Saliba situation on his way to Marseille on loan?
I make of it as a real frustrating situation, to be honest, Curtis. I honestly thought after he went on loan, he would come back and he would have a chance to stake his claim pre-season. Yeah. But obviously something's going on there that isn't right. Because normally what happens is he would sign a new contract. You say, look, you are part of our future, big time. You sign a new contract and off you go. Then the fans could say, oh, it's all right because he's got another 5 years. No.
Yeah.
But I think this is his third season. If he's going on loan for the season, what is it? He's got 2 years left after this?
2 years left. He could just walk at the end of the season.
Well, it's not that he can walk, but
he could push for a move.
Well, I just think out of sight, out of mind. He's in France. He's back in France. Listen, maybe that's what he wants. Do you know what I mean? Maybe that's what he wants, because that was a good message just before about his parents passing away, and Curtis. Let's be honest, we're fans and we want what's best for Arsenal. Full stop. But if you take a step back and you look at the young man, he's only 19, 20 years old.
20, yeah,
and he's lost his parents, so he might just think, I just want to be back in comfort zone. Yeah. Back in France, this move to Arsenal just hasn't worked out for me because I lose my parent. Things like that, and that can be the case. And Arsenal have to try and be as accommodating as they can while he matures, because no doubt he's a talented player. We know that, but if he's got reservations about England because of what's happened, we've got to respect that.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, to go through something like that would throw anybody off. And maybe because a lot of people were saying, why didn't he go to a Premier League club, get acclimatized to the league? But maybe he just doesn't want to be over here, you know, and
I
that
think
could be
that.
the case.
I mean, if you remember rightly, I think it was Mikel Arteta when he went on loan halfway through the season in the January window. He said, I want him to get football and then he can come back, and because obviously he knows that the likes of David Luiz probably won't be there. Now Gabriel's injured.
Yeah.
It's a perfect opportunity. But something's not quite right. And I don't think it's from Arsenal, by the way. No. I think it's the young man is struggling a little bit because of personal issues. And Fofana is the same age, but playing at Arsenal and playing at Leicester, no disrespect to Leicester, it is different. And losing both parents is a tough one for the young man.
Big up John Smith with a super chat. He said, "Can I just say I love you, Kevin? Big fan, and White is a great signing. We need to build from the back."
Good play. I think that right. We always said, didn't we, that who is going to be Gabriel's partner?
Yeah.
And Rob Holding played. He done okay, but he's not the answer because he's not good enough on the ball. He's not quick enough either. Ben White's quick and he knows how to play. I've got to say, Ben White, when he was at Leeds, I watched him quite a bit. He was sensational. Leeds were devastated that they couldn't sign him. Obviously, went back to Brighton, played for Brighton. And you know what Brighton's problems were. Brighton played good football. Their problems were at the top end of the pitch.
Scoring goals, yeah.
They couldn't score goals. They could play from the back. They played lovely football. And Ben White was a key part in that. So I think he's an upgrade on what we've got at the moment, Ben White.
What I will say now, I mean, the Saliba deal hasn't been completed yet. Now, obviously, this news came out today. Gabriel they've said he's got tendonitis in his knee. He's been sent home from the Brazilian training camp, will not be playing in the Olympics. With that injury now, does that give us another situation to maybe say, do you know what? You're not going to Marseille. We're keeping you now.
Could be. I mean, look, things change like this all the time, Curtis. And the fact of the matter is, he's an Arsenal player. Saliba's an Arsenal player. Yeah, we know. And again, you have to kind of gauge where the young man's mentality is, because if he's not quite with it, you could be doing him a lot more harm than good. Do you know what I mean? So they're gonna have to gauge how he feels. Rumor has it that we're already out there looking for other centre halves. You know what I mean? This could be one big mess for Arsenal, because if Saliba's mind ain't right, you've got to let him, the young man, he's only young, you've got to let him go and try and mature and be comfortable elsewhere, because obviously he's not feeling England at the moment. So what we've got to do, we've got to go out there and try and sign other people. Was it Tapsoba was mentioned, and all different, this is Arsenal business, isn't it? This is Arsenal problems. It's typical
Arsenal, man. I mean, Edu's starting to get a little bit of criticism and questions now. People are saying, does this guy struggle to negotiate big contracts? Obviously, the Buendia situation that happened a few weeks ago. I haven't spoken to you really since. I mean, what did you make of that? It seemed quite
well, let me start the fire then.
All right, here we go. It's about to get hot now.
Let me start the fire.
Go on.
Do you reckon if Buendia was one of our priorities, we wouldn't have paid the money? Of course we would. He wasn't a priority. Obviously he wasn't, because he would have been the first signing. We have got the money to sign him, Curtis. We do. We have got the money to make that signing. But we didn't want to meet the needs. Aston Villa decided, they're going to put this amount of money down. Arsenal, are you going to match it? Arsenal turned around and said, no, we're not. Why? Because it's not a priority. That's it. That's the only reason why. Because let's be honest, Arsenal would have at least matched Villa. But they matched them at first. Villa moved the goalpost. Arsenal said, no, take him. So he can't be that much of a priority.
Do you think Arsenal were thinking, though, do you know what? we'll get Odegaard back on loan, so we kind of leave Buendia.
No, I don't think so. I think Arsenal knew as soon as Carlo Ancelotti decided to go back, the Odegaard potential loan or deal was off the table. That's for sure.
Do you know what I wanted to ask you about? Because when that Buendia situation fell through, and I was a bit like, oh man, but I was actually talking about Pereira at West Brom. And then funnily enough, I saw a report that you'd did about Pereira with Football Insider, I think.
I would take him. Yeah.
And listen, I saw reports of 15, 20 million. I mean, do you think Arsenal would look at him, or is it just a player that you think personally you would take?
No, I mean, I would take him whether Arsenal look at him or not, because he kind of plays in the same position that Saka does, Smith Rowe does. We've had Aubameyang on the left, Martinelli does. So if he comes in, does that push Martinelli down? I mean, we had murders last season with Martinelli not playing enough games. So for 15, 20 million, you're getting him at a knockdown price, but it kind of hinders some of your other players. So, I like him. I think he's a good player, and we need the big squad. But if it's going to be to the detriment of Martinelli, then no. I think Martinelli deserves some game time. More.
The thing what's crazy from the outside, I look at that Buendia situation and they're saying Arsenal have been scouting him for over a year. Apparently, they made an inquiry last January. They then make an offer in the summer. And then when Villa come in, they kind of back off and come out of it. It's like, well, if he isn't the priority, who is? Because Arteta has said that if Odegaard doesn't come back, that's a position they're looking at, alongside Smith.
Look what's happening with Aouar. Before Buendia, Aouar was the one who people were saying maybe we should have got him before we got Partey. That was going to be 50 million plus. Now we could potentially get him for half that amount.
Yeah.
Is that good business? I think that's good business. So if we can secure him, I think we've got to try and get him in the building. And if we have to pay 25 million, guys, I think we could afford 25 million.
Yeah, I think we can match that.
I think we could afford it.
Big up John, he said, Kevin and Curtis, well, he's put £150, but I'm assuming he means 150 million. Who would you look to buy? I mean, one or two names, realistic ones.
Well, I've already said I like the fact that Basuma would be. I don't think Basuma would be big money.
No.
But again, that's fine. Ben White, 50 million, I think is a good price. He's not kind of who people think is our elite, but he's a good player and he's got big upside, Curtis. So you go for the centre half, you go for the central midfielder. Locatelli, he's another good player, Italian player. Normally they tend to stay and go to Juventus, but Juventus don't have the money, so Juventus want to offer players, and Sassuolo need the cash. So that could be another one. Obviously, Lokonga's coming in, so that's probably 3 players in that central midfield who you could get. And Aouar at 25 million, I think that eats up the 150.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'd be happy with them signings. It's all gone a bit quiet on Basuma, but hey, listen, maybe in the background something's happening. I mean, just quickly, just one final one on that Buendia one. So, do you think that is a case of Arsenal left that alone rather than they got gazumped by Villa and Villa just kind of came flying in?
Yeah, I really do. I think Arsenal. Listen, we've seen all the connections to Buendia previously. Arsenal were linked. Arsenal inquired. That's what you do. You inquire about the player. You see if he's willing to come. Okay, he's willing to come. One thing Arsenal probably weren't going to do is get into an auction for him. Why? Because he's not a priority. If he's a priority, then okay, let's go toe-to-toe with Villa. But he wasn't a priority, which is why as soon as Villa upped whatever the price was and restructured the payments, Arsenal went, nah, not for us. So that tells me, and they haven't signed anybody, that tells me he wasn't quite the priority that people thought he was.
Jashar said, big up Jashar with a super chat, said, question for you, Kev. How do you feel Mikel Arteta would have dealt with the 88, 89 youngsters, Adams, Rocky, Thomas, Mers, Hayes, Quinn, and Campbell? Do you think Arteta would have been good with the young players?
Well, I think he would. I think he's understanding of giving the players time. I think it's a different time as well.
Yeah.
The key to it was it's not. We're seeing Saka do stuff what most of these boys who were older come in and done. They came into the first team and were first team ready. Do you know what I mean? They were first team ready. They were winning football matches. They were tough. There's only so much a manager could tell these guys because the talent was there. So we saw Saka, we saw Smith Rowe. And listen, I gotta say, Villa best back off Smith Rowe, man.
Oh,
Villa
man.
best back off.
Brock the neck, Kev.
Brock the neck. Brock it. They best back off. He's our player.
Yeah.
But what this tells me, Curtis, is Grealish is off. This is what it tells me. Well, if you sign Buendia and you're bang in it for Smith Rowe, they're looking at two players
to replace one.
And that says to me Grealish is off. But no, not Smith Rowe. Go and find somebody else. Go on. Go ahead.
Hey, Kev, you know what, though? Do you know what? It's funny. And when Villa made that first bid, I thought he's got 2 years left on his deal. They're just trying their luck. They made a second one. There's talk of a third one. Do you think they're being given encouragement from somewhere, whether this is agent or is he just using Villa maybe to get a better contract out of Arsenal? Do you think there's a little bit of something in that story, or are they just trying their luck?
There's something going on. Somebody is telling them to keep pushing.
Yeah.
But Arsenal is going to be in. Listen, one thing I will say, Curtis, everybody has a price.
Yeah.
And we'd be stupid to even think, well, we couldn't get a big price for the Croydon De Bruyne, right? One thing we know, we don't want him to go because he's shown promise. We think he's gonna be a top player. But let's be honest. If we sold Smith Rowe and that brought in Maddison, would you be upset?
I'd see it as an upgrade. Yeah, I'd see it as an upgrade.
And this is possibly the thing. Arsenal know they're gonna have money. They're gonna have a skip load of money. They've already paid that for Buendia. Grealish is going for 80 to 1. And let's say they come with 40, 45 million for Smith Rowe. Then they could get a Maddison. That then makes sense. I don't want Smith Rowe to go, don't get me wrong. But I would see the thinking of then obviously Maddison's, what they have to shell out is only small. And as you said, quite rightly said, it's an upgrade because he's Premier League proven. He's one of the most offensive players from the midfield, offensive passers and goal scorer, assisters for Leicester, who we could really want. So listen, if they came in 40, 45 mil, even went up to 50 mil.
It's a tough one to turn down, isn't it?
It's a tough one to turn down.
It's crazy because in one hand, you'd be like, I think the fan base in general would say we should be signing Maddison to add to Smith Rowe rather than sacrificing. But, it's a difficult one, isn't it? And I read yesterday that he's on around £30,000 a week. Now, if a Villa are saying 70, 80 grand a week, maybe his head's been turned a little bit.
Look, there's the rumours there's a new contract being done for him, right? At Arsenal.
Yeah.
Now, the fact of the matter is, we know some of these things go on, that it's not the player. The agent will probably be speaking to teams who cover him.
Yeah.
and let's say he could earn 70 at Villa. Arsenal maybe offer him 50. 20 large is a big difference.
Yeah.
20 large a week is a big difference. And the fact of the matter is, Arsenal don't have the time to say, all right, we'll just develop you. Because when development, you're going to go up and down. We know it, Curtis. Arsenal need proven players now. We can't have another season like last season. Smith Rowe hasn't played a full season. He played half a season virtually, and out with injuries, etc. If you could get a Maddison and an Aouar in there, and you could pull in a 50 or 40 for Smith Rowe, that's good business. Because you're getting two players. You're getting two players when you go across it. It's cheap. For those two.
Let me get into these super chats quick. John Smith said, "Is it coming home, boys? Big up from Aussie." I mean, we will talk about the Euros later, but listen, we feel
there's a great chance. 100%. You know, listen, I believe of all the squads that are left, England have the best squad.
Yeah, agreed.
But the key to it is, as you know, is on the day. You've got to turn up, and we play like we did against Scotland. We're going out tonight.
Yeah, 100%.
That's for sure. We play like we did against Scotland. We play like we have done in previous games, keeping it tight at the back. Many don't like it, but you know what? It's tournament football. That's what gets you through. We have the firepower at the top end, and now I've got to say, Harry Kane's come to the party now. I fancy us tonight. I do.
Robbie, big up with a super chat, said Saliba should be outright into that team. Holding isn't even Premiership quality. Throw him in. Fergie wasn't afraid to give John O'Shea a chance. I mean,
Robbie, that's a good point. Robbie, that's a good point. But again, I don't think the issue is, this is me personally, I don't think the issue is actually giving Saliba a chance. I think it's Saliba's mindset and where he is mentally because of the passing of his parents. You know, he's a young man who was comfortable, because there's a lot of teams who wanted him in January.
Yeah.
He wanted to go back to France. Now, the fact of the matter is, maybe he just feels comfortable. He's only 20 years old. You know, maybe he just feels comfortable for another season being in France and bedding himself down. Maybe and Arsenal are going to oblige him. Maybe that's what they're going to do. But they have come out and said he has a future at Arsenal. So I just think it's more of, you know, the player and getting comforted back in France.
Do you get frustrated with the way Arsenal handle transfer business? I mean, we had a bad season. You come back, you're like, listen, transfer window's open. I want to see Arsenal come out the blocks firing. I know it doesn't always work like that. It's how you finish a transfer window, not how you start it. But I was just like, come on, get going. Like, get something done early that lifts us all up a little bit.
Yeah, listen, we would all love that. I said, I'd love Arsenal to do their transfer business early. Get 2 or 3, 4 signings in so everybody could say, you know what? We look a bit like a team now.
Yeah.
And then you could, you know, whoever you want to bring in after that, you can. But what we do know is other teams like to play the game.
Yeah.
They like to play the game. If the other team hasn't got a replacement as well, Curtis, they ain't going to sell you their player because it leaves them exposed. So there's a lot that goes on in the transfer market. Listen, I'd love Mikel Arteta to have 300 million in his back pocket so he could just go out and do what he needs to do. But
it doesn't always
it's not
work
happening.
like.
It's not happening. Not yet, anyway.
In terms of the manager, we knew we'd talk about him at one stage, but I think
knew you'd get round to him.
I had to. I can't have you on here.
You'd get round to him. Come on, then. Come on.
Do you think now, though, Kev, this season, it's like his protective barrier is gone now? You've had that year. You've had a full season. You know, we didn't have a good season. Now it's crunch time for him, in my opinion.
He's put up time, 100%. Yeah. Listen, I said it last season. This season, this summer and this season, last season cannot be repeated. No chance.
Yeah.
We have to be swinging, Curtis. We have to be out there swinging every game. We haven't got Europe as a distraction.
Yeah.
We got to be able to concentrate on the league and cups. We've got the squad. We're going to have to build a squad, and we're going to have to go for it. And if we perform like we did last season, listen, it'll be gone. Let's face facts. If we perform like we did at the first half of last season, it'll be gone. Make no mistake about it.
And that's it. And now, obviously, the government announced that the fans, 60,000 at the Emirates, they're not going to accept what was going off last season.
No, and you know what? I think you saw, even when the fans did return at the back end of last season sparingly, you saw the team perform differently, because when you've got your own fans there, it's different. It puts more pressure on the opposition, and it lifts the home players. So I think a full Emirates. I'm looking forward to going back, Curtis. I can't tell you. I can't wait to get back there. A full Emirates. Arsenal's form are nowhere near that bad. Nowhere near, and we'll win a lot more games than we did last season.
I mean, officially, Arsenal apparently started pre-season training today with the players who obviously have not gone to tournaments and that. I mean, you as an ex-player, you've left clubs before. How much different is it when you join a club late in pre-season and maybe they've gone on tour and you haven't had really time to settle in? Is it a lot more difficult than getting there at the start and getting your house sorted and training, going on tour?
Yeah, well, it is. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts when you join a club. When you join a club later on in the transfer window, and the team have got pre-season, say 2, 3, 4 weeks underneath their belt. Obviously, if you're coming from a different team, obviously you might be at a different level than where. Yeah. So they've got to gauge what level you are at fitness-wise, and then obviously there's the integration into the squad of players. Then there's family. You've got to find a place to live. You've got to, there's a lot of moving parts. So there's a lot of grafting to be done in the background. And then you still got to perform. So I think the key is, as quickly as you can get these players in. If you're an experienced player, it's a little bit different because you kind of understand a bit more. Whereas you might say, look, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to rent an apartment for 6 months. My kids are in school. Do you know what I mean? And you do it like that first, and then you take your time and do it. Yeah. But it's never easy. It's never easy. It's always difficult, Curtis.
Yeah. 1,500 people in the chat. Make sure you smash a like and subscribe. Big up to Kev for coming through. Poket Guna said, Big C featuring Super Kev. What's your opinion on us playing on weekends only? An advantage or added pressure? I mean, did you prefer playing 2 games a week, or did you like having the midweek to train?
Listen, the games come when they come.
Yeah.
Right, Curtis. And one thing I will say, Arsenal will have an advantage if they play with no European football, because you can do a lot more work. You can do a lot more video. You can do a lot more technical stuff with them. Because when you think about it, if you play on a Saturday, you've got a game on a Thursday, you recover, you're preparing for that team, you play, you travel, and maybe you've only got 1 day to even prepare for the team. That's not enough at this level. But you make it because you're quality players, you're a quality team. But if you've got all week to scheme for a team, hey, listen, I'm definitely looking at Arsenal doing some bits this season. They've got to.
Yeah,
no excuses this season, Curtis. None.
Nah, none at all. Do you know what? I think one of the biggest things with Mikel Arteta, even before we hit the transfer market, is get that extra 10, 20% out of the players that are here. We need to get Aubameyang back firing. We need Martinelli fit. We need, Thomas Partey to have a proper season this year. So
proper pre-season with us.
Yeah.
Because he found out what the Premier League was like.
Yeah.
It's not just when you play Liverpool. You play Burnley, you're going to be in a tough game. You play Brighton, you're in a war. Do you know what I mean? Every game is a battle and a war, and it's hard to win. So get these boys physically fit, get them all up to speed, and let's go for it. Because you know what? Last season, I think, was terrible for us, but we definitely can't have another season like that, Curtis. That's for sure.
I don't know what you made, because I was watching the Copa America last night. Emi Martinez saves 3 penalties. We're being linked with a lot of goalkeepers at the moment for quite a bit of money. And to me, I was thinking we'll get Matt Ryan or we'll get some sort of backup goalkeeper for Leno. But we're being linked with goalkeepers at 20, 30 million pounds. And I'm like,
Starters.
So is Leno going, or are they being brought in to challenge him? Well, what's your thoughts on the goalkeeper situation?
Well, I think that position, you have to be ruthless, Curtis, when you're talking about goalkeeper. And Leno, for he's done some. He's had some great games. Let's not get it wrong. He has had some great games, but some things have been creeping into his game last season, especially that haven't been right. It cost us a few games. He's not as comfortable with the ball at his feet, etc. And if we want to be that team who builds from the back, you've got to have a keeper who is comfortable with the ball at his feet. You have to. Yeah. And Leno just isn't comfortable. Martinez was comfortable, but they made the decision that they're going to go with Leno. And I'm not going to say it hasn't quite worked out, but we are not as productive from the back as we should be because of the keeper not being comfortable enough with his feet. So, we're being linked with this keeper, that keeper, some decent keepers as well, who really will be coming in as number ones. That's the thing. But they seem to be all comfortable and competent with the ball at their feet. So, I just think you can't mess around with goalkeeper. You can't mess around with centre halves. They have to be spot on. And Leno just isn't spot on at the moment.
Yeah, I think like you said, clearly Arteta wants to play out from the back. And I think in particular, the goalkeeper and the centre-back, he's looking for people who can start off attacks, probably why he wants Ben White, and a goalkeeper that's a lot better on the ball. So I wouldn't be surprised if Leno's moved on this summer.
Yeah, I wouldn't. It wouldn't surprise me. I think Leno's a good shot stopper, but the fundamentals and the details, sometimes when he comes to crosses, he punches stuff when he gets 2 fists to the ball when he could catch it.
Catch it, yeah.
Little things like that make defenses and fans nervous.
Yeah.
Because if he comes and takes the ball, he takes all of the pressure away. So little things like that, when he's not comfortable with the ball at his feet, it puts pressure on defenders because, is he going to give it me? Is he not? Type of thing. If you don't know what he's going to do, he's struggling. So I just think this is one that Arteta has to get right this summer.
If Arsenal have a decent window and they get some decent players in and we're fairly happy with what we got, what do you think has to be the aim for this season for Arsenal?
It's got to be to qualify for Europe. It's got to be, listen, top 4 is always going to be the priority. If you can't win the league, you qualify. If you can't win the league, you get in that top 4. You get in that top 4. If you can't get in that top 4, then you've got to be in the Europa, because we're out of the Europa this season, and that's going to hurt. Yeah. But we have to use it as a springboard. So we've got to use it to rebound properly. Now, I wouldn't mind qualifying for the Champions League, if I'm honest with you.
None of us would mind that, Kev.
I wouldn't mind qualifying for the Champions League because there's no hindrance or there's no European football. We've got to use it to our advantage. We know some of them, the most favoured teams, are going to be in and around the mix-up in Europe come later on this, and it does stretch the squad. It's not going to stretch our squad because we're not even involved in any of that Europe. So we should have more energy. We should be able to go after teams a lot more. We should be able to play on the front foot a lot more. So listen, I just think we've got to go for that Champions League spot. If we don't get it, next best is obviously Europa. But we've got to take both cups serious this season.
It's crazy, isn't it? Because, Kev, when we first landed in that Europa League, 4 years ago or whatever, I was like, yo, just give me a year or so and get us out of here quick. Now, I would actually grab Europa with both hands right now.
It's funny, Curtis. It's funny because we're just not that team anymore, are we? And it hurts. We're just not that team anymore who have had our history is good. Qualifying for Champions League all these times, and then we're in the Europa, and now we're out of the Europa. No, that has to be addressed this season. So it's either we qualify for the Champions Leagues or we get back into the Europa. Confederation, I don't even want that. I don't even want anybody to mention that nonsense.
Nah, we can't go in there.
No, don't even mention it. It's got to be at the top end. That's where we've got to be. We've got to be operating.
Kev, you know, like when you played for Arsenal and me growing up even and looking at the teams you played in and obviously the development of Wenger, I feel like now that under this ownership, I'm not even really pointing this at the manager, under the ownership, are they damaging what people like yourself and the teams you played in and teams beyond? Are they actually damaging what you guys built and the reputation this football club has? Because I feel like
it's already damaged.
Yeah, massively damaged.
I tell you why it's damaged. Because obviously, I'm from the past. Then you got the Wenger era. And the Wenger era, the first part of the Wenger era was huge. And you tell me, or anybody in the chat tell me, you could relate to the teams.
Yeah.
The teams play good football. The teams were tough. If a team wanted to mix it, the team could mix it. The team wanted to play good football, you could play good football. The club was a winning club. But for the last, 16 years? We haven't won a league in 17 years, 16 years. That's a long time, Curtis, for Arsenal. But throughout those 16 years, we've made fundamental mistakes. Where? In the transfer market. Fundamental. And it's not, I keep hearing people, oh, we haven't spent money. We've spent the money. It's how we've spent it. We've spent it poorly. And they're talking about, Matrix and all this nonsense. Good players we needed to sign, we've let go. Good players we could have signed, we let go. On various levels, 40 million and £1 and Golo Kante here. And, you think what squad we could have had, if we'd have bought these players. So, under this regime, it has affected the legacy of Arsenal. And I think this is why we're all so frustrated, Curtis. Because when you've tasted the nice food and you stayed in the nice hotels, no disrespect, but the bed and breakfast, you know what I mean? With the cafe with the little calf isn't the Ritz.
No, it's
not. You know what I mean? We're used to staying in the nice sheets and having afternoon tea and having the lovely silver service.
Yeah.
We ain't getting that no more. We've got to get back to that. And this is such a big summer for us in order to try and push to get that back. Because I said it in January last year or this year. Christmas time in January. The winning mentality has gone out the club. He needed to get the deadwood out. There's a lot of moving parts in there. We were awful. We started to move. We started to get better come the end of the season, but not to the fact how we won it. Okay?
Yeah.
Not to the fact how we won it. But now here we are. Here we are. We're at the Ritz. We got no money. And we're waiting for our friend to come with the money.
I'm telling you.
You know what I mean? Because I ain't staying in that bed and breakfast no more, Curtis. We don't want to stay there no more. No disrespect to bed and breakfast.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
We want the Ritz.
But how do we get out the bed and breakfast, Kev, with these owners?
Well, listen, this is why the recruitment has to be right. It has to be right. And this team has to reflect what Arteta wants. Now, he's got to sign the players. By hook or by crook, we've got to get them in. And this is why I said earlier on, I don't want him to go. But if we have to juggle and we have to sell a Smith Rowe, that's what we have to do sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's hard.
It's hard, man. Kev, they said you're flexing with the wine rack in the background.
Listen, they're all
that ain't no
empty, boss.
Echo
They're all
Falls, is it?
empty. They're all empty. Arsenal drove me to it.
Oh, man, like Kevin, a legend. But do you know what? Is as much as I've criticized the manager Arteta, I still recognize there's a bigger picture. Are they actually giving him the best opportunity to succeed? Like they were talking about 250 million to spend. I think we all knew as soon as we saw that, here we go, season ticket renewal. They're throwing stories out. I mean, are they even giving this guy the right chance to succeed at this club?
Good question, Curtis. We're going to find out. We are going to find out just how much they want to back the manager and they want to put Arsenal on a better footing than they were last season. And it's going to probably take right to the end of the window to do it. And if it takes that, I don't care. But we need better players. We need hungrier players in the mix. We need more athletic players as well in the center of the pitch. That's for sure. And that's no disrespect because I thought Jack had a really good tournament. But it was tailor-made for him because it's slower football. It's not Premier League. It's not hustle and buzz. Not back. He was doing stuff that he couldn't do in the Premier League. I see him in the Premier League. Sometimes he's got time and he looks up, but he doesn't play. He plays it sideways. Whereas in the Euros, he was looking up and he was playing balls forward. I saw him play, was it one ball against Southampton to Pepe when Pepe scored? That's what we needed. We needed somebody who was, would take risk. And probably that's why we're getting linked with Maddison.
It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, you look at a player like Xhaka and you see that performance, you think, where's that for Arsenal? But like you said, the different styles of football, he'll probably go to Roma with Mourinho in Italy, slower tempo. He'll probably look a good player over there.
Yeah. And that's the difference. And you know what? I wish him all the best, to be honest. But what we need at Arsenal, we need legs, we need tenacity, and we need production. Because at the end of the day, Granit Xhaka, he is a good player. I'll never call him bad. He's a good player. But his production wasn't great.
No.
How many his assists and goals? He'd get maybe 1 or 2 goals a season. Assists, he might get 1 or 2 assists a season. That's not good enough for Arsenal.
No.
It's not.
I think, listen, I know a lot of people were frustrated with the fee that was being reported, like 17 million or something. But I think when you're in a difficult situation, sometimes you got to take that money and just keep it moving, aren't you?
Yeah, listen, I think if we really hold out for money, we could probably get 20, 25 million for him. And obviously there might be some add-ons that could boost it up to 20 odd. But do you know what? We need things to move now.
Yeah.
We don't want to be waiting to sell Xhaka come the end of the transfer window, and then we're scrambling to try and sign somebody, and then the door shuts on us. No, if we could get 17 now, make up the rest down the road, Roma. Yeah. We get the 17 now, we can put that to good work. Do you know what I mean? We're grocery shopping.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. We're grocery shopping. You got some money for me. Give me the money now. Because, I could eat better. You can give me more down the road. But you know what? I need the money now. Give me it now so I can go out and get the groceries. And that's what Arteta, Edu have to do. They have to go and they've got to shop proper.
Yeah, they have to. Ray said bye, John McGinn. I mean, decent player.
Listen, I think he's a really good player, John McGinn. He's one of them who you know what you're going to get, Curtis. Every game, you know what you're going to get. He's a hard worker. He's going to put his foot in. He's going to do everything in order for the team to function and win.
Yeah.
Not a bad player. I like him. Is he Basuma? Probably not. But could he do a job? 100% he could do a job. 100%.
Do you know the funny thing? But at the moment, I got this slogan with Arsenal: link with everyone, sign no one. But the funny thing is, it's interesting that I see a manager the other day. I forget who it was on Sky, and he said I wake up in the morning and I see my team being linked with players. And he said, I've never even had a conversation about this guy. He said, most of it is made up. You know what I mean? So it's crazy, isn't it? All the transfer talk.
Listen, we've been linked with everybody. We have. Of course we have.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, now this is the shark-infested water. The agents are out.
Yeah.
The agents are out because, if I put my guy's name forward and it gets a swell with the fans, then I've got there might be an opportunity I could move my guy to Arsenal. People take chances. You have to take chances because remember, the window, it seems like a long window, but it's short for the agents.
Yeah.
So they've got to try and drum up whatever, advertisement they can for their players. So I get it, but we are not going to sign a lot of these. Well, three-quarters of them ain't going to be linked to Arsenal, really.
Do you think Arsenal still appeals to big players?
Yeah, 100%. I do. I do think Arsenal. Here's the one thing people have to remember. Arsenal have the history, which is great, but Arsenal are still the biggest club in London. No, it's not just. It's not just. It's not just. Curtis, it's not just. There's been more successful team. Yeah. Chelsea have been more successful than us of late. Of course. Yeah. But there's no way anybody could tell me Chelsea are a bigger club than Arsenal. No way. They've got an owner who puts his money where his mouth is in order to get them where they need to be, which is fine. But you look at history, it's not even close. They've got Champions Leagues now and all that. And, the bright lights are all, what have you done for me now? Yes. But when you look over the period, it's not even close. We need to get back to that. We cut all of that, got cut short because we were moving to the Emirates.
I'm still waiting for that dream to occur, Kev. You know,
listen, we're using our hands trying to turn the ship around, Kurt.
No, we ain't even got the paddle no more.
Yeah, we're using our hands. Everybody's got to try a thing. You know what I mean? Crazy.
Dear. Big season ahead, man. But we'll see. Let's hope we get good news anyway. But let's talk about England. Do you know what? I have enjoyed the summer because I haven't had the stress of watching Arsenal. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching England. I'm chilling. We're doing well. What have you made of the Euros overall as a tournament so far?
I thought it's been a pretty good tournament. I think England at times early on reminded me of Arsenal because you're expecting them to do this, that, the other.
Yeah.
And Sterling's been incredible. Saka's been incredible. Jordan Pickford, let's have it right. Jordan Pickford, many wouldn't have had him in the goal.
Yeah.
He's been incredible. I think defensively, Rice and Phillips in midfield have been good. Sterling's been outstanding. He really has been outstanding. Good that Kane's come to the party now, which is in the last two games, which is good. Our boy Saka, all of a sudden, we know what he can do. Many of the other people didn't know what he could do. And then all of a sudden, he just burst onto the scene and showed everybody, I'm the man.
Yeah.
But Gareth Southgate, big respect to him. There's so many million managers, armchair managers, who would pick this, that, the other. And he stuck to his guns. And what does he do, Curtis? He picks Grealish one game, he'll pick Foden another, he'll pick Saka one other, and he'll pick Sancho. Having all this talent at your disposal, he's using it in the right way. So fingers crossed, we use it in the right way tonight, and we could get the right result and go into the final against Italy.
I mean, David Ornstein saying England expected to make one change. It's the Arsenal man. They're saying Saka in, Sancho out. When I clicked on the report, they're saying that they felt there was issues with Sancho and Kyle Walker. They felt maybe Sancho wasn't helping Walker as much.
Just a bit defensively.
Better balance, cutting in on that left foot. Would you agree with that decision, bringing Saka back in?
Yeah, I think so. I think Sancho still had a good game.
Yeah.
But you look at the opposition and you look at who you're playing against. I think that's what Gareth Southgate has done really well. And he chooses the players that not only can expose the opposition, but can protect his defense as well. And there was a little bit of disjointed with Sancho and Kyle Walker, because we've seen Saka really do that job really well, where he doubles back and he wins the ball back and he gets away, and Kyle Walker isn't exposed. I think that's the key against this Denmark team. Cannot be exposed. And obviously Saka, he trusts Saka to be able to do that. So brilliant for us.
What do you think? Obviously, people were saying earlier, is football coming home? I mean, have they ever had a better opportunity than this? I mean, even in 2018 against Croatia, I was thinking, if we get past Croatia, we're playing against a prime French team. That final is going to be very tough. But to play Denmark and Italy, two good teams, but beatable teams at Wembley with the fans, is this the best opportunity you've ever seen for England?
Yep, 100%. 100% the best opportunity. I think Denmark, listen, one thing I will say, we got to respect Denmark, because if we disrespect Denmark, they'll turn us over, they'll knock us out. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
We've got to respect them. But I think we're the better team. We have the better talent, and we have the better bench. We have the better bench in order to bring danger on. Yeah. So I expect us to win tonight, get in the final. We know how Italy play. Italy are going to want to try and press us. So I don't want to think too far ahead. But as you mentioned, those teams, these are the teams who, if you win tonight, then Italy await you. We know how both teams play. Can we beat them? Yes, both teams are beatable. The key is we got to turn up on the day. It's always on the day in international football, especially with England.
Yeah,
we have the players, we have the squad to do it. I want us to do it, because you know what? I want to see England win something in my lifetime.
I'm telling you, man.
I want to see us win something in my lifetime, and who knows? That might then be the springboard to bigger and better things. But there's a World Cup coming up. But we've got to see off Denmark first.
I agree. I think, like you said, England, they can't focus on Italy. They got to beat Denmark. But I'm putting it out there, Kevin, and I think England are winning the tournament. Honestly, I think they're winning it.
Listen, if you pushed me and said, who do you I reckon England. Yeah, I do. Of course I do. But my old brain box always tells me you never disrespect the opponent.
Yeah, 100%.
And the opponent right now is Denmark. And don't forget, Denmark are playing for something other than just the glory. They're playing for Christian Eriksen. And sometimes that carries there's a power in that. When when you're going for a different cause, there's a power in that cause. But I'll be honest with you, we got to knock them out. Sorry, Christian, we got to knock you out tonight.
I'm
got to try and knock you out tonight.
What's your score prediction for tonight?
I'm going to go 2-0 England. 2-0.
Do you know what?
Get another clean sheet.
I said the same thing as well. I mean, they haven't conceded a goal yet. It's been an amazing record, hasn't it? And I think they'll keep a clean sheet tonight as well.
Keep a clean sheet, England win. That's simple.
Yeah. Nah, looking forward to it. But Kev, really appreciate you coming on. To be fair, this is probably the calmest stream we've ever had. I told you,
I know, but we still had a bit of fire. You went there with Arteta, Curtis. You went there with Arteta, and I set a few fires with Smith Rowe and all that. So it's all good. Always lovely to come on.
The one thing I didn't mention that would have added a bit of fire to it is, listen, man, Antonio Conte is out of work.
Yeah, but we knew that. But hey, Curtis, I've said it before and I'll say it again to you.
Go on.
Do you reckon Antonio Conte is going to put his reputation on the line for selling Xhaka for 17 million and not being able to bring in who he needs to bring in?
Yeah.
Those big time managers don't do it. They don't do it. They don't put their reputation on the line if you're not going to back them. That's why he's left Inter Milan.
It's true.
Do you know what I mean? That's why he left Inter Milan. So
he was close. He was close to going to them lot down the road if they'd have given him a bit more money, a few more staff members.
Listen, when these guys come to your club, you've got to open the safe, open the vault, because there's a lot of money that you got to invest to get the best.
True. The Visionette says, "See, can you ask Kevin what sound system he used to support? Respect."
Well, as a South London boy, Saxon Sound, Coxon, those guys. Studio One, always Studio One. Them guys lived across the road from me, man. They're like family. So, you know what I mean? All those sounds were top class.
You was involved in music at one time, weren't you? Didn't you work with Mark Morrison and that Return of the Mac Settings?
Yeah, I had a record company, and what a lot of people don't know is when I was young, really young, I used to DJ on sound systems.
Did you?
And I was supposed to cut a tune. And Pat Rice heard about it and shut that down. He said, "Look, you either have to concentrate on your music or your football, and you're choosing music." He said, "You're choosing football. You ain't choosing music. You're choosing football." I was always going to play football anyway, so
yeah.
So he shut that down. I was 14 at the time. So
he said, "None of that."
None of that.
Alan's long time on the show. He said, "Kev, can you give me away for my 60th birthday?"
Happy 60th birthday, Alan. All the best. And I hope the England boys bring it home tonight so we can enjoy a big final on Sunday.
Yeah, man. Big up, Kev. Big up, Alan, always supported. He said, Pud said, could just imagine Pat Rice listening to that. Kev,
he wouldn't listen to that, man. He wouldn't listen to that. Trust me, he wouldn't listen to that. But he was all about the football. All about the football.
Yeah, man. Listen, big up to Kev for coming through. Over 1,700 people in here. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe. Don't forget, I'll be back 7:30 England watch along. Biggest England game in how long, man? You know what I mean? How long? They're saying Crucial Robbie and Kevin Campbell.
Hey, listen, Curtis. This is Southgate's third semi-final.
Yeah. One as a player.
Think about it.
Two as manager. He's lost the first two.
Listen. So something's got to give. Come on, the boys.
Yeah, man. Big up Alfred. He said it's only coming home because England has had all the home games. The tournament might as well have been hosted in England.
Well, one thing I will say is all the group games, Germany played in Germany. All the group games Italy played in Italy as well. So let's have it right. We're not the only one who played a lot of home games.
Yeah. It's just the way it is, isn't it, with everyone?
Yeah.
People,
just the way it falls.
People saying you and Robbie Summer Clash DJ.
These people just don't make me laugh. These people.
It would be good viewing though.
Viewing. You're crazy, you guys, man.
Now, big up to Kev for coming through. Big up everyone for tuning in. I'll see you tonight at 7:30. Take care, everyone. Big up, Kev.
Nice one.